The great council hall floated in the middle of deep space. It was built from silver metal and glowing blue crystal. The hall was round like a giant ring, and thousands of alien lights shined across the walls. This was the place where all the great species of the galaxy met. They made rules, they made peace, and sometimes they made war. Inside the hall, hundreds of alien leaders sat in high seats around a bright table. Some were tall and cold, like walking stone. Some had wings that moved softly, and some had eyes that glowed like fire. The air was filled with soft music and the sound of machines. Everyone was waiting for the next guests. Then the doors opened. The sound of heavy boots echoed on the floor. A small group of humans walked in. There were only 5 of them. Their uniforms were clean but simple. No gold, no shining stones, no special symbols. Compared to the aliens, they looked small and weak. Some aliens smiled. Some whispered to each other. Some laughed softly as if they were watching a child walk into a war room. The human leader stepped forward. His name was Captain Aaron Stone. He had gray hair and calm eyes. He did not smile, but he did not look afraid either. He walked straight to the center of the hall and stopped under the bright table. Behind him stood 2 officers, 1 scientist, and 1 translator robot. The leader of the council, a tall creature made of silver skin and black eyes, rose from his chair. His voice was cold and smooth. "Humans," he said, "you have come to speak in this great hall. But the galaxy already knows your place. You are not ready for war. You are not strong. You are small." A wave of laughter moved through the alien seats. A creature with 3 mouths laughed the loudest. A flying being clapped its wings. Another tapped its claws on the table, but Captain Stone did not move. He looked at each of them, one by one. He saw the same thing in every face: pride. They believed they were untouchable. They believed humans were weak. The council leader spoke again. "You ask for a seat in the war meeting. But what do you bring? Your ships are slow. Your weapons are old. You are a young race. Why should the council trust you?" Aaron's voice was calm when he answered. "Because," he said slowly, "you have never seen what we have built in the dark." The room fell silent for a second. Then the laughter grew louder. Some aliens banged the table with their hands. One shouted, "The humans are telling stories again." Another said, "Maybe they will bring rocks to the war." The scientists behind Aaron took a slow breath. The translator robot made no sound. They had expected this. No one believed them. Aaron stepped closer to the council leader. His voice was steady, almost quiet. "While you were laughing," he said, "we were building. While you called us weak, we prepared for the day this war would come." A tall alien with green skin leaned forward. "What can humans build that the galaxy does not already have?" It asked. "Your planet is small. Your armies are small. You have nothing." Aaron looked up at the shining ceiling. He could see the stars through the transparent glass. Billions of stars, silent and watching. Then he looked back at the aliens. "You're right," he said. "We are small. But sometimes, the smallest voice is the one you should fear the most." The council hall grew quiet again. No one laughed now. Something in his tone was different. He was not making a threat. He was telling the truth. Then, without warning, the lights in the hall flickered. For a moment, every screen in the room turned black. A soft, deep sound moved through the walls, like a heartbeat from far away. The aliens looked at each other in confusion. "What was that?" one of them asked. Aaron gave a small smile. "That," he said softly, "is the sound of our fleet." Waking up, a wave of cold ran through the room. The council leader blinked. "Your fleet?" he asked. "What fleet?" Aaron did not answer. He simply turned and walked away. The other humans followed him in silence. The translator robot left a single message on the table. It read, "We will not beg for respect. You will give it. When the stars go dark." As the doors closed behind the humans, the alien laughter did not return. The council hall was filled with a strange, heavy silence. No one understood what had just happened. But deep in space, something old and black had started to move. And for the first time, the galaxy felt a quiet fear, far away from the shining stars of the Council. There was a place where no alien eyes could see. It was a cold part of space, dark and forgotten. In this hidden corner, behind a dying red star, floated something the galaxy did not know existed: humanity's shadow base. The base was built inside a hollow asteroid. From the outside, it looked like nothing more than space dust. No light escaped from it. No signal was sent. It was invisible to every alien radar. Only humans knew the secret path through the silent dark. Inside, hundreds of people worked in silence. Soldiers moved through long black corridors. Engineers typed fast on glowing screens. Scientists whispered to each other as they checked strange machines. Everyone here had one mission: to prepare for the day when humanity would rise. Deep under the base, giant metal doors opened slowly. A soft wave of cold air filled the room. Inside the dark hangar, something slept. Huge shapes, black like the void, rested in silence. Their armor absorbed light like shadows. They made no sound, no heat. Even space itself seemed to bend around them. These were not normal ships. These were the dark matter warships, the most dangerous creation humanity had ever built. The main engineer, Dr. Lin, stood on a high platform looking down at the fleet. Her hands were cold, but her eyes were full of fire. She had worked on these ships for 15 years. She knew every wire, every weapon, every dark panel. "They're still laughing at us," whispered one of the officers beside her. Dr. Lin gave a small smile. "Let them laugh," she said. "They will not laugh for long." Below them, hundreds of workers moved like ghosts, silent and fast. Every order was given through hand signals, not voices. No one wanted to make noise. This was a place of shadows. At the center of the hangar stood the biggest ship of all, the Eclipse. It was as long as a city and darker than night. It had no windows, no lights. But hidden inside its body were thousands of advanced weapons, rail cannons, gravity torpedoes, and something no alien had ever seen: the dark pulse engine. Dr. Lin walked to the control panel. She pressed her hand on the cold glass. A soft blue light moved under her skin. "Authorization confirmed," the computer whispered. The hangar shook softly. One by one, the warships began to wake up. A low hum filled the room. The ships didn't shine like normal starships. Instead, their black armor became even darker, like holes in space. Slowly, their engines came alive, silent and deadly. In the control room, Captain Aaron Stone stood with his officers. His face was calm, but his eyes carried the weight of years. Behind him, a giant screen showed the Council's laughter from earlier. "They think we are weak," said one young pilot. "They think we have nothing." Aaron didn't look at the screen. His voice was soft but strong. "We built this fleet while they were busy fighting each other. We built this in the dark so no one would stop us. We waited, and now, the time has come." The screen changed. An alien Empire fleet was moving toward Earth. Thousands of enemy ships. The Council was ignoring it. No help was coming. "Eclipse ready," said Dr. Lin through the speaker. "Shadow fleet standing by." Aaron stepped forward. "Then wake them all." Every light in the base turned red. A deep alarm echoed, not loud, but heavy, like a heartbeat before war. Hangar doors opened slowly, revealing the endless black sea of space. The warships floated out one by one, quiet like predators in the dark. Outside, the dying red star gave a weak light. But when the dark matter warships passed, the light itself seemed to disappear. Their engines did not burn. They did not glow. They left no trail. To anyone watching from far away, there was nothing. A pilot whispered, "We are shadows." Aaron looked at the screen again. Alien fleets were drawing closer to Earth. He clenched his hand. "No," he said, "we are hunters." The ships spread out, forming a silent line. The Eclipse stood at the center, massive and quiet. Dr. Lin looked up at it and felt both fear and pride. This was humanity's greatest secret. a secret born from fear, pain, and hope. On the bridge of the eclipse, Aaron gave his final order. Engage the dark engine. The stars around the fleet bent. Space itself trembled for a second. Then the fleet vanished into the black. Back in the council hall, the aliens were still laughing. They did not know that far away, in the deepest dark, something had already begun to move toward them. And this time, it would not ask for permission. The alien invasion fleet moved through the black ocean of space like a burning storm. Thousands of massive ships, glowing with blue and red light, flew in perfect formation. Each one carried heavy weapons and deadly fighters. Their destination was clear Earth. At the front of the fleet was a huge ship, shaped like a blade. Its commander, Supreme Admiral Vark, watched the stars with a cold smile. His species had fought in wars for centuries. They had destroyed many planets. To him, Earth was nothing more than a small rock in the void. "This will be easy," Vark said to his officers. "The humans have no fleet, no allies, no chance." Around him, alien officers laughed. Their screens showed Earth, small, blue, and alone. No defense ships could be seen. No resistance. The Council had already refused to help. The humans were on their own, far away in the dark. They didn't know what was coming. In the shadow between two stars, the dark matter fleet floated in silence. There were no blinking lights, no shining engines. The black ships looked like empty space itself. If any alien scanner tried to find them, it would see nothing. On the bridge of the eclipse, Captain Aaron Stone stood in front of a large black screen. Red dots covered the map, the alien fleet. One single blue dot Earth. The aliens were closing fast. "Distance to target, 12 minutes, said Dr. Lin. Aaron nodded. "All ships hold position." Inside the dark warships, human pilots sat silently in their chairs. No one spoke. They only listened to the low sound of the dark engines. This was the moment they had trained for. This was the moment humanity had waited for in silence. Outside, the alien fleet kept moving, unaware. Then, a quiet voice came through the comm line. "Captain, orders?" Aaron looked at the map. He could hear the alien laughter from the council in his memory. He could see the fear in human eyes back on Earth. He took a deep breath. "Begin the strike," he said softly. Suddenly, the blackness of space changed. One by one, human warships uncloaked. Or rather, space itself let them appear. Their shapes rose out of the void like shadows with teeth. No lights, no flames, just black steel and silent power. The alien radar screens went white. Thousands of red alarms began to scream. "What is that?" shouted one alien officer. "Multiple contacts." Another screamed. "But they weren't there a second ago." Admiral Vark's smile disappeared. "Impossible," he whispered. Before any alien ship could react, the eclipse opened its main weapon. A dark pulse spread like a wave. It made no sound, no flash, just darkness. The alien shields collapsed like glass. Then the first shot was fired. A single black torpedo hit the lead alien cruiser. There was no bright explosion, just a sudden silence. The entire ship folded into itself, crushed by invisible force, and disappeared. Then the second ship was gone. Then the third. Within seconds, half of the alien front line was destroyed. The aliens panicked. They fired everything: lasers, plasma, missiles, into the dark. But their weapons passed through empty space. The human ships were too fast, too quiet. They struck and vanished again. On the eclipse's bridge, Aaron watched in silence. His officers didn't cheer. This was war, not a game. "Target status?" Aaron asked. "Enemy formation broken," Dr. Lin replied. "They can't find us. They're shooting at shadows." Aaron gave the next order. Ended. Hundreds of dark warships moved together like one creature. Their weapons fired without a sound. Alien ships exploded silently, their light swallowed by the void. The alien fleet that had once looked like a storm was now just floating metal and fire in the council hall. Alien leaders were watching live war screens. Their faces turned pale. The same humans they had laughed at were now destroying an empire's fleet in minutes. Who are they? One alien whispered. They are humans, another answered softly, and they were waiting for this moment. On the flagship of the alien fleet, Admiral Vark stood alone on the bridge. All his ships were burning. His voice shook with anger. "Where are you, human?" he shouted into the dark. "Show yourself." The eclipse appeared right in front of his ship, black and silent. It was larger than anything Vark had ever seen. He felt cold fear for the first time in his life. Aaron's voice came through the radio.com. "Lo, you should not have laughed." Then, with one single pulse, the alien flagship vanished into the darkness. Silence returned to space, the dark matter. Fleet floated quietly where the alien armada had once been. Thousands of enemy ships were gone. Not a single human ship was lost. On the bridge of the eclipse, Aaron stood still. His voice was calm but cold. "Message to the Council," he said. "Tell them. Humanity is not weak." Dr. Lin smiled for the first time. They won't be laughing now. The fleet turned toward Earth, engines still silent. The stars themselves seemed to move aside. The galaxy had just witnessed something it would never forget. The first strike. The great council hall floated quietly in space. Just hours ago, this hall had echoed with laughter. Now, it was silent like a grave. The bright blue lights that once filled the room seemed colder than before. The alien leaders sat in their tall seats, but no one smiled. No one whispered. Their eyes were fixed on the giant screen at the center of the chamber. The screen showed what had happened near. Earth, the dark matter fleet black, silent, unstoppable, had destroyed the alien invasion armada in minutes. No warning, no mercy. No help from anyone. Just shadows and fire. The leader of the council, the tall silver-skinned alien, stood up slowly. His voice was calm, but everyone could hear the tremble inside it. "Is this real?" he asked. "Is this not a trick?" No one answered. The truth was already in front of them. Thousands of alien ships were gone. And the humans, the same weak race they had laughed at, were standing as the victors of the greatest battle in recent history. A green-skinned alien with sharp horns broke the silence. "How?" he asked softly. "How did they build something like this? How did no one know?" Another leader, a creature with glowing eyes, replied, "Because we never looked. We thought humans were too small, too weak. We were wrong." The council leader turned to the intelligence officer standing near the screen. "What are these ships made of?" he demanded. The officer swallowed hard. "We don't know," he said. "Their armor absorbs light. Their engines give no signal. They cannot be tracked. And their weapons." He stopped. His hands were shaking. "Their weapons destroy without light or sound." A low murmur filled the room. Fear, something many of these alien rulers had never felt before, was now sitting beside them like a shadow at the edge of the council hall. The massive doors opened slowly. Heavy boots echoed on the silver floor. 5 humans walked in. The same humans who had once stood there and heard the laughter. This time, no one laughed. No one even breathed loudly. Captain Aaron Stone walked straight to the center again. He did not smile. He did not speak fast. He just stood there, calm and cold. The translator robot walked behind him but stayed silent. There was no need for translation. The humans had already spoken through action. The council leader tried to keep his voice strong. "Captain Stone," he said slowly, "your fleet has done something impossible." Aaron looked up at the screen. It still showed the battlefield, floating metal, broken ships, and a black fleet standing like silent hunters. "It was not impossible," Aaron said. "You just never believed we could." The green-skinned alien leaned forward. "You could have told us," he said. "You could have warned us." Aran's eyes turned hard. "We did," he said. "But you laughed." Thick silence fell again. Everyone remembered their laughter. The council hall, once a place of pride, now felt like a cage. Another alien leader stood up. Her voice was soft but serious. "Why did you build these ships in secret?" Aaron walked slowly to the center of the hall. His steps were steady. "Because we knew one day no one would come to help us," he said. "Because we knew when war came to our door, the council would look away." He looked at each alien leader, one by one, just like he had before. But this time, no one dared to meet his eyes. "We built in silence," Aaron continued. "We prepared in the dark. You thought we were weak? You were wrong." The silver-skinned leader spoke carefully. "And now, what do you want?" Aaron stepped closer. His voice was quiet, but sharp like a blade. "We want respect. We want a seat at this table, not as beggars, but as equals." The words hit the hall like a wave. No threats, no shouting, just cold truth. Every alien leader felt it. Humanity was no longer asking. Humanity was taking its place. Whispers filled the chamber. Some alien rulers looked afraid. Some looked angry. Some looked thoughtful. The council had always been the center of power. But now, a new power had appeared. A silent, dangerous power they could not control. A glowing-eyed alien whispered. "If we do not accept them, they could crush us," another answered. "And if we do accept them, they will change everything." The council leader raised his hand. "Enough," he said. "We must vote." As the council began its secret vote, Aaron turned his back and started walking toward the exit. Dr. Lin followed quietly. She whispered, "Do you think they'll accept us?" Aaron looked at the stars through the tall glass wall. "They have no choice," he said. Behind them, alien voices grew louder. The council was no longer laughing. The council was afraid, and fear was the language humanity had finally taught them. The night sky above Earth was calm, but the galaxy was not. Inside the great council hall, the air felt heavier than ever before. The alien leaders sat in silence, staring at the glowing vote table in the center of the room. A single question burned through every mind: join humanity, or stand against them. The council leader, the tall silver-skinned alien, rose slowly from his chair. His hand shook slightly, something no one had ever seen before. "This vote," he said, his voice echoing, "will decide the future of this galaxy. We have lived in the shadow of our power for centuries, but now there is another shadow. A human one." Whispers moved like wind through the hall. Some alien leaders still feared humans. Some respected them. Others wanted to fight. No one trusted anyone completely. A glowing-eyed alien stood up. "We should ally with them," she said. "They saved Earth from the Empire. They destroyed the fleet in minutes. If they wanted, they could destroy us too." A green-skinned warlord slammed his hand on the table. Or maybe, he growled, "we should attack now. If we let humans grow stronger, no one will be able to stop them later." The hall filled with noise. Voices rose. Accusations flew. Some shouted about power, some about fear, and some about freedom. For the first time in centuries, the council was divided. At the edge of the hall, Captain Aaron Stone stood silently with his team. He didn't interrupt. He didn't need to. Every word spoken in the council now was proof of how much everything had changed. Dr. Lin whispered beside him, "You're fighting with each other more than with us." Aaron nodded slowly. "That's what happens when power moves," said. The council leader struck his staff against the floor. Boom! The sound shook the hall. "Enough!" he shouted. "You all saw what happened. The Empire is not gone. Their main fleet is still out there. They are preparing for another attack. If we do not decide now, they will decide for us." A cold silence fell. Far away in the deep void between galaxies, the Empire's grand armada moved like a black tide. 10 times larger than the fleet that attacked Earth, their flagship, the Blood Crown, burned like a star. Admiral Zorak, the new war leader, stood on the bridge with fire in his eyes. Humanity showed its teeth. He growled, "Now we will break them." Thousands of ships followed him. Planets would burn. Stars would fall. This was not a raid. This was war. Back in the council hall, an alarm echoed through the chamber. Red lights flashed across the room. A voice from the intelligence station shouted, "Incoming transmission, the Empire fleet is on the move. Estimated arrival near the galactic core in 12 hours. Fear swept through the alien leaders like a cold wind." Aaron stepped forward now. His calm voice cut through the panic. "We gave a warning," he said. "This war is not just against Earth. It's against all of you. If we stand alone, we will fall alone. But if we stand together, the Empire will fall." The green-skinned warlord narrowed his eyes. "And if we follow you," he asked, "do we become your servants?" Aaron looked straight at him. "No," he said. "You stand as equals. But understand this. If you choose to side with the Empire, we will not hold back." His voice was soft, but the weight behind it was heavier than any weapon. The council leader stepped forward. "We vote now," he said. "No more talk." One by one, the alien leaders placed their hands on the vote panel. Blue light for alliance. Red light for rejection. The table began to glow. When the final hand touched the panel, the room held its breath. The table turned half blue and half red. Gasps filled the air. The council was split. Half the galaxy would stand with humanity. The other half would stay neutral or worse, join the Empire. Aaron stared at the lights without blinking. Dr. Lin whispered. "Half of them don't believe we can win," Aaron replied. "Then they'll see." Outside the council station, the dark matter fleet gathered again. The Eclipse stood at the center like a silent giant. Human pilots prepared their weapons. No music, no celebration. Only cold, focused. Aaron stood on the bridge, staring at the stars. One of his officers asked, "Do we have enough to win?" Aaron answered, "We don't need enough. We need to be faster, smarter, and darker." In the far distance, sensors picked up the first shadow of the Empire Armada. A storm of ships. A storm of death. This was the moment humanity had been waiting for. Inside the council, the silver-skinned leader whispered, "If they lose, we all fall." Aaron placed his hand on the glass, watching the stars bend around the fleet. "If we lose," he said quietly, "the galaxy will never see light again." The order was given. The dark matter fleet moved toward the core of the galaxy, toward the final battle. The stars above the galactic core were calm, silent, ancient, but soon. That silence was going to break. The Empire's Grand Armada moved through the dark like a storm. Tens of thousands of ships, huge glowing engines, endless lines of war. At the center of this storm was the Blood Crown, a massive flagship, brighter than any star. On its bridge, Admiral Zorak stood tall. His red eyes burned with pride. "Today," he said to his crew, "humanity will kneel. The galaxy will remember this day as our victory." The alien officers roared in agreement. To them, the humans were still a small race that got lucky once. This time, they had brought their full strength. They believed no one could stand against them. They were wrong. Far ahead, hidden in the cold shadow between stars, floated the Eclipse and the entire dark matter fleet. Hundreds of black ships waited in perfect silence. Their engines made no sound. Their weapons gave no light. Around them, space itself seemed to hold its breath. Inside the command bridge, Captain Aaron Stone stood in front of the main screen. His officers were calm, focused. No one shouted. No one trembled. They had trained for this day their whole lives. Dr. Lin's voice was quiet but steady. "Enemy fleet in range." Aaron gave a small nod. "Hold." All across the fleet, pilots placed their hands on their controls. Soldiers locked their targets. The dark engines vibrated softly, like a heart before battle. Outside, nothing moved. It was as if the shadows themselves were waiting for his word. Admiral Zorak's fleet advanced, confident. They saw nothing ahead. No council ships. No human defense. Just darkness, then the stars blinked. The dark matter fleet, uncloaked like a nightmare. Black ships rose out of nothing, silent and cold. For 1 second, the galaxy itself seemed to stop breathing. "Contacts! Contacts!" shouted alien officers aboard the Blood Crown. Where did they come from? They're everywhere. Aaron's voice echoed across the human fleet. Calm. Sharp. Final. Strike. The first wave hit like a storm of shadows. The eclipse fired a massive dark pulse. It didn't shine like a laser. It didn't explode like a missile. It erased. The front line of the Empire fleet folded into itself. Their shields broke like glass. Their engines died in silence. No warning. No escape. Human ships moved fast, faster than the enemy could see. 1 second they were there, the next they were gone. Alien ships fired wildly, hitting nothing but empty space. Panic spread through the Empire Armada. On the bridge of the Blood Crown, Zorik gritted his teeth. Find them, he roared. Find them. But they couldn't. Humanity had become invisible. Inside the council hall, the Allied fleets prepared to join the fight. Half the galaxy had chosen to stand with humans. Their ships were slower, their weapons weaker, but they were ready. The silver-skinned council leader watched the live transmission. He whispered to himself, "They are rewriting everything." In the heart of the battle, Aaron's eyes stayed locked on the screen. "Focus on the flagship," he ordered. The eclipse turned toward the Blood Crown. It moved like a black blade cutting through a sea of fire. Zorak saw it now. The giant dark ship, silent and unstoppable, moving straight at him. "Fire everything!" Zorak screamed. Hundreds of missiles, beams, and plasma bolts flew at the eclipse. But when they reached it, they vanished, swallowed by the dark shield. Zorak's officers stared in shock. Aaron gave the final command. "End this." The eclipse fired its main cannon, a dark pulse so powerful that even distant stars flickered. It struck the Blood Crown directly. There was no explosion. No noise. Just a flash of emptiness. And then the flagship was gone. The fall of the Blood Crown sent a wave of fear through the Empire fleet. Command ships lost contact. Orders broke. Some ships tried to fight. Others tried to run. But it was too late. Human warships hunted them like shadows. The Allied fleets joined the attack, surrounding the broken armada. The sky turned into a storm of fire and silence. In less than 1 hour, the greatest fleet the Empire had ever built was gone. The battlefield went quiet, among the floating metal and broken ships. The eclipse stood still like a dark mountain. No one cheered. No one laughed. They had just changed the history of the galaxy. Dr. Lin looked out at the wreckage. "It's over," she whispered. Aaron's eyes were hard. "No," he said. "It's just beginning." Back in the council hall, the alien leaders watched in silence. No one questioned humanity anymore. No one laughed at them. They had become something more than a small planet species. They had become the power that decided the fate of worlds. The silver-skinned leader stood slowly. "From this day," he said, his voice shaking, "the council will never be the same." On the bridge of the eclipse, Aaron walked to the glass wall. Beyond it, the stars burned softly. The war was won. The galaxy had changed. And now, humanity had a seat at the table, not as followers, but as leaders. He whispered, "They will remember this day." The camera of the story slowly pulled away past the eclipse, past the battlefield, past the shining stars. A dark fleet floated silently in the light of victory. This was the day the galaxy changed forever.